The bar's got that swing. Glasses clink, hear the ice cubes sing. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worries slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Va salute. Well, here we are. It is midweek. So we've made it halfway through. Congratulations to all of you that are here. I'm so glad that you are. Let me start saying hi to each one of you, starting with the lovely Netter of Netters Network, who says that I am the love of her life, and she, of course, is the love of mine. She says, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, become a member, gift a gifty. If you are feeling particularly generous and you want to make sure that I am able to continue doing this in order to maintain the channel's viability, hail all and smash the like button and enjoy the show, says Jonathan Conroy. Thank you so much, my friend. Stalwart, appreciative of you. And Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube and Fluff Chick Productions. Thank you so much for being here. It's Penny. Penny. I say that this time because she literally said Troy, Netter, Connie. So she's literally 3 comments in a row. Always glad to see you here, Penny. Miss you when you're not here. And I think that catches us up. So this is Wednesday. I set aside Wednesday for WTF Wednesday. Usually this blows my mind, or I just got to react to something, a little bit of a rant. Let me tell you something. What is wrong with celebrities? It takes a special kind of stupid to do and say some of the things that they say, and I have to feel that, and welcome Real Wade Nation Gaming Recap. Good to see you, my friend. Remember that most of these celebrities are either paid talking heads, right? They are paid to read the news to you and, not think too much into it, right? Just read what is on the teleprompter in front of you as, stoically and straight face as you possibly can, or they are paid pretenders. It is their job to manipulate your feelings and make you think that in the moment they are really feeling certain emotions that they are not, because they are pretending in a scripted, rehearsed way, right? In what way does that qualify them to have opinions on anything, really? But we'll get to that in just a moment when I bring up my shared screen. Oh yeah, last night was a Sherlock Holmes night. Those of you that were able to join us, we had a great time. I'm going to share my screen. Am I not sharing it right? I'm not sharing it right. Here we go. And let's move in on this. There we go. So, Mark Ruffalo challenges James Cameron over Netflix Warner Brothers deal as studio battle heats up. Well, my first thought is, by what criteria do you think you have any business telling James Cameron your business? Secondly, in theory, in practice, this is one of your potential bosses is James Cameron. If he doesn't want you in his movie, you're not going to be in his movie. So, you might very well be pissing off someone who is going to decide whether or not you get the next job. Oh, my comment must have fallen off. Hello, Liquid Lunchers. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. Well, I hope you are having a wonderful day too, Big Al. I only got the stream up about an hour before we went live, so I find it difficult to believe that would have happened. I suppose it's possible, but no, I did not see a previous comment. I won't pretend to understand how YouTube operates, but speaking of how things operate, let's get into this stupidity going on in Hollywood. Mark Ruffalo publicly took aim at James Cameron after the Avatar director warned lawmakers that a potential Netflix acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery could devastate the movie theater business. Let's stop right there, because this is something that we have been talking about on this channel and others in our sphere for some time. This is not new. This isn't, revolutionary thinking. In fact, we have even had people on both sides of the political aisle make this exact same comment. When you have diametrically opposed ideologues in agreement on something, you should really pay attention to what they're saying. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo lives up to his Hulk character. The dude always seems angry. Yes, that's true, but not in the normal Hulk mindless rage kind of way. He's got just enough of a thought in his head that makes him dangerous. That's the real problem. But we'll get to that in just a second. But so everybody has been talking about how this is going to affect the industry. People from SAG-AFTRA have been talking about this, and they're all weighing in with big concerns about Netflix. But Mark Ruffalo, no, he knows better than everybody else because he's Mark Ruffalo, right? Ruffalo's response posted on to Threads. I guess that's another social media. Threads. Never heard of Threads, but okay. Probably no one would have heard about this if news outlets didn't pick it up and and start talking about it. Ruffalo's response, posted on Threads, immediately reframed the fight and injected a heavy dose of politics into an already heated industry dispute. Let me pause right there and say, oh, right. It's about your politics. It's not about the business you're in. It's not about the business of these companies. It's not about the investors whose money is being invested. It's all about you and your politics, you moron. After Cameron sent a letter to Senator Mike Lee arguing that the Netflix Warner Brothers deal would be disastrous for the theatrical motion picture business, and it will be, if it goes through, Ruffalo questioned whether Cameron's concerns were being applied consistently. So the next question to Mr. Cameron should be this, Ruffalo wrote, are you also against the monopolization that a Paramount acquisition could create? Or is it just of Netflix? Well, again, right? And we've had this conversation here because someone in the chat brought this up as well. What monopoly are we talking about and how big, right? I mean, ideally, given the option, I would rather see neither company buy Warner Brothers. And yes, I would agree that it would be better for the industry at large and for the audiences, the movie theaters, and so forth, if Warner Brothers stayed its own separate entity. Unfortunately, the way business works, the stockholders have put Zaslav in charge. Zaslav is out for one person, himself. He wants to enrich himself. Again, that's how business goes. That's how business works. I mean, let me ask you, Mark Ruffalo, are you prepared to work for free? Because, it might, support a company that supports your politics? Are you going to work for free, Mark Ruffalo? Just asking, because if you're not, shut the hell up. You have no business asking these questions of other people, right? These are business decisions by business people with money that they're spending. Do you have any financial dog in this hunt that you can see? You do, but I don't think you're aware of it. Or is it just that of Netflix? No, I would say it has nothing to do with who the companies are. It has to do with how big the companies are and what they will do if they become bigger. That is the real problem. I want to say hi to Mark Melnikoff, who says like, share, subscribe, become a member. Don't be like Mark Ruffalo. Yes, exactly right. Right. Put your money where your mouth is, right? I don't see Mark Ruffalo trying to buy Warner Brothers. Does he even own stock in Warner Brothers where this would matter to him? Then he needs to shut up, I mean, really, I have yet to see why his opinion matters in this discussion at all. He continued, I think the answer would be very interesting for the film community to hear, and one that should be asked immediately. Is Mike Lee against the Paramount sale as well? Is he concerned about that as he is the Netflix sale? We all want to know. Speaking, who's we all? You want to know, and you assume that everyone agrees with you. That's your problem, Mark Ruffalo. Speaking on behalf of hundreds of thousands of filmmakers worldwide. Yeah, so is Cameron. He actually probably speaks for more people in the industry than you do, Mark Ruffalo. So sit down and shut up. The comments quickly drew attention across the entertainment industry, particularly because they appear to shift the focus from Cameron's stated concern, the survival of theatrical exhibition, to a broader antitrust politics. And I would say if that's all it was, yeah. If he was advocating for no sale at all, then he should not be going after Cameron. He should be going after Warner Brothers and saying, why are you selling, Zaslav? Is it just because you're a greedy bastard? I mean, that would actually be fair because that is pretty much true. Cameron's original letter was not primarily framed around monopoly fears. Instead, the director argued that Netflix's business model fundamentally conflicts with the traditional theater ecosystem. Exactly. He's not even concerned about whether or not it's an antitrust thing. So by making it that, Mark Ruffalo is literally moving the goalpost. He's talking about this, and Cameron is talking about this. Mark Ruffalo needs to get his head out of his ass. According to Cameron, if Netflix acquires Warner Brothers Discovery, theaters will close, fewer films will be made, the job losses will spiral. This is true. We've all been saying this. You know, job losses, including yours, Mark Ruffalo. Just saying. Do you want to work essentially for free? Because that's kind of what would be happening if you work for Netflix. You work for Netflix under Warner Brothers, the former Warner Brothers, under Netflix. You will make a movie. You will make the money you're entitled to for that movie that you agreed to, and then you will make no residuals. You will make no residuals because that movie will not be released in theaters. Or if it is, it will be such a small release, they can claim, well, we didn't make enough profit that we have to share that profit with you, Mark Ruffalo. This is how business works. You know, maybe people that make this kind of money should kind of understand that. You know, and before you start making comments like this publicly, maybe talk to your financial advisor first. And your lawyer. Would be a good idea. He further warned that Netflix's streaming first strategy is directly at odds with the theatrical film production and exhibition business, which employs hundreds of thousands of Americans. That's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. You know, do you like putting people out of work, Mark Ruffalo? We would all like the answer to that question. And I think I probably do speak for a lot of people that just for lols would like the answer to that question. In other words, Cameron's concern is structural, not purely antitrust driven. It's a familiar Ruffalo playbook. That's absolutely true. Ruffalo is no stranger to political commentary. The actor has been one of Hollywood's most outspoken activists for years, frequently weighing in on political debates, elections, and media consolidation. All areas that he has no knowledge of that I can see. He has no bona fides, no reason for me to believe this. Although he should know more about media consolidation. He should know more about the industry he works in, the industry that pays him. You know, that he actually has a vested interest in. But comments like this attest to the fact that he does not. But as far as politics go, who the hell are you to comment on politics? How are you any more knowledgeable about politics than I am? In fact, I would say you're probably less because I spend more time paying attention to all sides of the aisle, right? All you listen to is your threads, I suppose. Critics across social media and potential commentary circles have repeatedly accused Ruffalo of hyper-partisan commentary and Trump derangement syndrome in the past. A reputation that has followed many of his public statements. His latest post is already being viewed by some observers as another example of that pattern, particularly because it pivots the conversation towards Senator Mike Lee, a Republican, rather than directly addressing Cameron's theatrical concerns. Exactly right. I can't help but wonder, does this have to do with your perceived ideas behind what the people involved in Netflix believe politically, as opposed to what the people behind Paramount believe politically? You know, rightly or wrongly, I think you might be mistaken in your judgment of Paramount and who's buying it and where they fall politically. But my question is, Mark Ruffalo, Is that where your concern really lies? I suspect it is, barring any answer from you. What makes this clash particularly interesting is that Cameron and Ruffalo are arguably talking past each other. Cameron's agreement, Netflix's model theater threatens theaters and film production economics. Ruffalo's argument, why single out Netflix if the consolidation like Paramount is also possible. Both points touch the broader consideration wave sweeping Hollywood, but they are not identical concerns. And again, this is business people who own things and have a right to sell things and sell them to companies that already have that stuff and can consolidate them, right? If you want a say in that, maybe start buying stock in these companies, or start your own company, and maybe you start bidding on other companies. Just saying, if you think you'd be a more benevolent dictator, feel free to make that happen the way all of these companies have. Look, it comes down to, yes, you are affected by this. You are allowed to have an opinion, but how do you have the right to tell someone else that they shouldn't have the opinion they have, right? They have their investment, you have yours. Both points touch I said that. And the direction matters. Theatrical exhibition remains one of the last major battlegrounds between traditional studio economics and streaming first disruption. Cameron has also been one of the industry's most vocal defenders of big screen experience, a position that predates the current merger drama. That's actually very true. And again, from a business standpoint, I've mentioned this about multiple revenue streams before. How it used to be that you put in this big investment into making this big budget film, right? You put it out in the theaters in the hopes of making a profit. You never spend money in business unless you're planning to make a profit. Even when you know you're going to take a loss, you're doing it for a greater payoff down the line. You build infrastructure, or you invest in a technical studio or something like that brings in nothing immediately, but allows you to make better movies and so on and so forth that will lead to greater profit down the line. You never do anything without expecting to make a profit. So the goal always had been, you're making a movie in order to make money at the box office. That's why the box office is, such a key term in Hollywood. Box office, right? And remember, whatever that movie makes at the box office, the theaters keep about half of that. So so you got to take whatever $1 billion you made. Well, now you made $500 million. If that was more than you put into the movie, and with marketing and other considerations, then you've made a profit. But let's say you don't make a profit at the theaters. All said and done, you just break even. Well, breaking even is never breaking even. You put in time and energy that could have been used to make other movies. So that might have made a profit. So that's actually a loss, however you look at it. And then you take into account things like inflation and lost time value of money. You're losing money on that deal. But if you do break even, you got your eyes above the water, right? So now, how can I make more money on this? How can I increase so that I actually do start making a profit? Well, you can license it. You can license it to commercial television. You can the networks. You can license it to a cable company who's going to stream it on cable, and you make that licensing fee. Now you're in the black, right? Now you're in the black. You release it on physical media. So you start making money off of people buying CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, whatever, right? When you're done making your money, you put it on your own proprietary streaming service, and you don't make any more money off of it. Unless you're still making it from some licensing deals or from those DVDs. Because once it's on your streaming service, people aren't paying more to see that movie. They're already paying for your streaming service. The only thing it brings your streaming service is the value for the dollar that they're already spending. Oh, I have to decide between whether I go with Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Netflix. Who's got the best catalog that I get the best bang for my buck? Well, right now it's Netflix. Just saying. Nobody's rushing off to watch something on Paramount Plus. I shouldn't say nobody. That's hyperbolic, but not many people, comparatively speaking. With Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders set to vote on the Netflix acquisition and Paramount Skydance still lurking with a potential competing bid, tensions inside Hollywood are only likely to rise. And I recommend checking out Valiant Renegade's video from earlier today. He's got some great insights on a counter proposal that has come from Paramount that has some people in the industry starting to think that maybe Netflix is actually wanting out of this deal, because as this draws out, Netflix's Wall Street value is going down. They're losing money just from the PR of all of this. So, Ruffalo chips. I like that. And Jamie Lynn says, I know, right? Welcome, Jamie Lynn. Good to see you. Mark Ruffalo's an idiot. That only thing he knows about politics is whether his Democrat liberal overlords tell him. Yeah, exactly. And he believes whatever he's told by the people he's conditioned to believe. Nope, I canceled my Paramount Plus after Discovery Season 3. Picard Season 3. And glad I did. Don't watch that other new show. You'll go blind. Yes, take care of your eyes, my friend. Was there anything else on this? Meanwhile, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos continues insisting the company will preserve theatrical releases, even going as far as to offer that what he colorfully describes as a blood oath that the rollout strategy would remain largely like it is today. That largely is carrying a lot of weight right there. Skeptics, however, remain unconvinced, in part because of Sarandos' own past comments dismissing the traditional theater model as outdated. Yeah, can't hear what you're saying now. I'm still ringing with what you said previously. The Mark Ruffalo-James Cameron clash highlights a deeper divide inside Hollywood, whether the real threat is corporate consolidation or Netflix's specific streaming first philosophy. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And we will get back to even stupider celebrities. And I say that more in the plural, right after a brief word from, I would say, our sponsors, but it's really just me. So give me just under 3 minutes, and we'll get back to stupid Hollywood.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, an honest, good-hearted man is forced to turn to a life of crime to finance his neurotic mother's skyrocketing medical bills in the 1930s. And organized crime has never been so disorganized. Michael Keaton stars in the 1984 comedy classic Johnny Dangerously this Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Big Al Presents Films with Friends.
In a world where nearly all the entertainment is remakes, reboots, and rehashes of older properties, maybe it's worth it to get some commentary from people who experienced it all when it was novel and fresh. Catch Boomer and Pacelli on Geeky Geezers every Sunday night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
Every Monday night is Members Night at the movies on Last Call. Members enjoy an exclusive watch party just for them, and you can join too for as little as $1.99 a month. This week, since the topic for Last Call will be a retrospective of The Incredible Hulk with a special subject matter expert guest, the fans will be choosing between 4 different Hulk features to watch together this Monday at 9 Central. And if you're not a member, please consider it. It really helps support what we do here at Last Call. Thanks. This week on Live from Sparkwood in 21, we will be watching and discussing the second episode of Twin Peaks, Traces to Nowhere. Link to the live, off-platform stream of the feature will be provided in the chat this Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
This week on Last Call presents the return of Sherlock Holmes. An obscure family document containing an enigmatic ritual holds the key to a hidden treasure if Holmes can decipher the mystery of the Musgrave ritual. This Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern on Last Call Presents.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
And just a reminder, following up on that bit about this Friday, yes, we have a very special guest this Friday, Tony Roberts of Analog Toys. He is our subject matter expert, not only on Incredible Hulk toys and merchandise, but the overall character. He and I share a great affinity for the Incredible Hulk. So we will be talking about that this Friday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, right here on this channel. And let's get back to this. So we talked about this particular thing on, wait a minute. Troy, my Gemini AI has been acting weird as hell. I uploaded 2 identical pictures, except the only difference was the color, and the AIs tell me one is fine, but it can't make a video from the other one. Interesting. Don't know what to tell you about that. If it doesn't like the color of one, but it likes the color of the other, my assumption would be that it is racist. Racist. Right? Oh, God. Here we go. We talked about this on Sunday with Boomer on Geeky Geezers. Man with Tourette's shouts obscenities and racial slurs at the BAFTAs. Hollywood divided in outrage. So, since Sunday, I saw that Critical Drinker put up a piece on this, and you know how he is, his dry humor. When your DEIs collide, right? You have to be offended on racial grounds, but you're offended by a disabled person that you're also supposed to be defending. How do you balance that? Well, with ignorance. People don't understand who this man is, why he was even at the BAFTAs, and what Tourette's really is. They have their own believe the science of my echo chamber and not, actual reality. So the BAFTA Film Awards are facing renewed scrutiny following a controversial moment where a man with Tourette's screamed a racial slur live on the broadcast. The incident has sparked debate across the entertainment industry after many in Hollywood were sympathetic to the man, while others reacted with outrage and publicly criticized how the moment was handled during the ceremony. So I don't suspect that the article is going to get too much into Tourette's syndrome, but understand the science behind Tourette's syndrome. Have you ever known someone who had epilepsy? Epilepsy, when they begin to go into a seizure, right? And that can manifest itself in different ways depending on what part of the brain they're having a seizure in, right? Their eyes can roll back, their tongue can loll back, they can foam at the mouth, they can begin jerking and shaking on the ground, right? Now imagine that kind of behavior was considered offensive in your culture, and you took offense at somebody behaving this way. You should just not do that. Well, it's not like I have any control over when I have a seizure, right? You know, I can't just not have a seizure just by choice. Well, guess what? Tourette's is exactly like that. But you are having seizures in not only the motor sections, which causes them to have twitches and, reactions in their limbs, but in the vocal portion of their brain that causes them to say inappropriate things. Well, it's different for different people. Sometimes it's just whistles and clicks and, random words. Sometimes it's just purely offensive words. If the brain is a very complicated thing, and even when you get into how memory works, how feelings work, how language works, it's very, very complex. And it turns out that there are certain parts of the brain that control certain aspects of all of these things. So there is the Broca area and so forth, and the linguistic portion of the brain that deals with language. But even that is subdivided with based on how those words are perceived and should be used. Language is very complex. It's based on great nuance. I mean, we're talking about the N-word here, guys. That's what we're talking about, and that one's very nuanced. You can use it in a rap song where you're talking with friends, calling each other the N-word, whatever. It's meant kind of jovially. You can also use it to be absolutely hateful. Those are feelings attached to one word, and therefore that word may reside in a different place in the brain because of how it is perceived and used and filed away, right? And you have a seizure in any one of those portions of the brain, that word could just come flying out if you have Tourette's. This is for you not to talk about this story again. I'm sick of hearing about it. I know. And after this, I really, really won't. But I'm in it now. I pretty much have to. And why are you sick of it? You're sick of it because you're sick of the stupidity, right? I mean, FYI, John Davidson was, yes, the subject of a motion picture that was nominated for the BAFTAs, and that's why he was there. And what was that movie about? It was about his life with Tourette's. It was literally educating the dumb effers that are all offended by him right now. They should have watched his damn movie. That is the biggest irony of this whole thing. Right? Oh my God. Oh gosh. Okay, so let me get back to it. The incident has sparked debate across the entertainment industry after many in Hollywood were sympathetic to the man, while others reacted with outrage and publicly criticized how the moment was handled during the ceremony. I don't even know what to make of that. During the BAFTAs, there were repeated outbursts by Tourette's campaigner John Davidson during the award show, including the audible use of a racial slur while presenters Michael B. Jordan and Leroy Lindo were on stage. The moment, which aired despite the broadcast delay, prompted responses from BAFTA's host, Alan Cummings, and later from industry figures and commentators online. Now, I saw the comments by Alan Cummings, and all I could think is, was this like some sort of a script that he was given or that he was reading off a teleprompter, or did he improvise that himself? Because it was pretty darn good words. If that was him himself in the moment, cheers to you, mate. I mean, that was sharp. That was pretty darn sharp. During the BAFTA's broadcast, John Davidson, whose life inspired the nominated biopic, I Swear, repeatedly shouted profanity from the audience. At one point, he was heard shouting a racial slur while Jordan and Lindo presented the Visual Effects Award. Host Alan Cumming addressed the situation twice on stage. In his first explanation, Cummings told viewers, "You may have noticed some strong language in the background there. This can be part of Tourette's and some people, for some people, and thank you for your understanding and helping create a respectful space for everyone." It's a good point. Yeah, let's be respectful to, the presenters and the racial situation, but let's also be respectful to the person with the affliction, right? Later in the broadcast, he added, "Tourette's syndrome is a disability, and the tics you've heard tonight are involuntary, which means the person who has Tourette's syndrome has no control over their language. We apologize if you were offended tonight." No one's saying the words aren't offensive. We're just saying context matters. And if you don't understand that, you're a dumb effer. Just saying. Prior to the ceremony, a floor manager had also warned attendees that Davidson had Tourette's syndrome. So please be aware you might hear some involuntary noises or movements during the ceremony. Just saying. Maybe you should have seen the movie. Then you'd understand even better. Despite the show airing on a delay in both the UK and the US, the moment was not removed from the broadcast. Sinners producer designer Hannah Beckler, or it could be Beechler, I'm not sure, who was nominated at the ceremony, shared her reaction in a post on X following the event. "I keep trying to write about what happened at the BAFTAs and I can't find the words." Maybe you should shut up then. The situation is almost impossible, but it happened 3 times that night, and one of the 3 was directed at myself on the way to dinner after the show, she said. Oh, so she's going to make it personal. Boy, it's bad enough that someone has epilepsy, but they had epilepsy right in front of me, for crying out loud. She later criticized the wording of the on-air response from Cumming. Shut the hell up. But that made the situation worse. What made the situation worse was the throwaway apology of, "If you were offended," at the end of the show. Yeah, again, you were offended by someone who had zero control over what was happening, right? I mean, someone is put in shackles and knocked to the ground in front of you. Do you blame the person for allowing gravity to pull them down? You're a dumb see you next Tuesday. You know that? Of course we were offended, but our frequency, our spiritual vibration is tuned to a higher level than what happened. I am not steel. This did not bounce off me, but I exist above it, and I can't take away from who I am as an artist. Huh? That doesn't make a damn bit of sense. If you're above it, then you don't need to be talking about it. Shut up. According to the report, Beechler also noted that a third incident during the evening was directed at another black woman. The incident quickly spiraled across social media, where commentators and industry observers weighed in on the situation. Oh, Grace Randolph. Oh, the bastion of brilliance she is. Yeah. Film commentator Grace Randolph wrote on X, Tourette's means no filter, which means this man thought it despicable. The BAFTAs out here making fools of themselves and the entertainment industry. Well, Grace, even if that was true, now you've become the thought police. People aren't allowed to think things. You now get a right to choose how to censor people in their own minds, right? But that's not what this is, you dumb effer. That's not how this works. That's like saying, again, somebody who has epilepsy thinks about, hey, how cool would it be if I just threw myself down on the ground and started shaking? They don't think that. They spend every day of their lives praying that it doesn't happen. And if it does have to happen, that it doesn't happen at an inopportune moment. But unfortunately, that thought is what is most likely to trigger it happening at the absolute worst time. I can't believe how stupid these effers are. Yes, it absolutely is. And that's kind of why I want to address it, because I think we need to stop and look at how stupid these MFers are. The actor who played him in the movie won for Best Actor. Good. He probably understands it because he probably had to take the time to research it for the role. He probably spent a good deal of time speaking with the individual who, didn't he appear in the movie himself in a different role? I think he did. But yeah, and I've known people with Tourette's. There's actually a YouTuber. I follow her, I think, but I haven't seen one of her videos in a very long time. She has Tourette's and has a tendency to say very, very inappropriate things. And she's done a great job of making content of it. And in so doing, kind of raising awareness of it, but also, trying to find the humor in it. Because sometimes the things she says really are funny. And she's like, I can't even take credit for it because, it just comes out spontaneously. I have no control over it. Some of the things that she says are very inappropriate in a sexual way. And she's like, that's not who I am. That's not what this is about. But, anyone who knows me finds it even more funny because it's so not me. She even did an experiment where she tried self-medicating to see if it would, tamp down her tics or anything like that. And I think the only thing that actually did end up working was when she got so out of it that she fell asleep. So that kind of defeats the whole purpose of trying to get them under control, I suppose. But you know what? You're absolutely right. I am kind of tired of talking about this. I did want to take a moment to rant about it because I was so damn pissed about these people. Not drunk, not that it drove me to drink, and that's why I was pissed. I meant pissed as in American pissed, angry. It's just absolutely flippin' ridiculous. And it really is important because there is no way to treat this. There is no cure. And so you have to be aware. We just spent the past half decade, oh, you should mask up to protect other people, blah, 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 blah. Well, you should get educated to protect these people. You should be aware and not ignorant. That's all you have to do. Better yourself, learn something about a disease so that you can just have a little bit of compassion, because that's about all you can do for them. Grace Randolph was one of the people I subscribed to on YouTube when I first started interacting on YouTube, but she has just gotten increasingly dumber and dumber over the years. Same here. I used to get a kick out of what she said. I liked her as a presenter. She's got a very dynamic way of speaking that I used to enjoy. But when I hear the verbal diarrhea coming out of her mouth now, I can't turn her off fast enough. She's just become a dumb see you next Tuesday. Nerdrotic is having a field day with Randolph already, 2 videos. I may go check those out because it's a bit of schadenfreude when I see people ripping dumbasses like her apart. It's just unconscionable. These virtue signalers that are only signaling how without virtue they are, how ignorant and unsympathetic they are, you know. And again, being someone like Grace Randolph being offended on someone else's behalf, it's one thing for the idiotic black woman who doesn't understand Tourette's being offended because, you know, she perceives it personally because it's a racial epithet against her. Okay, fine. You know, that at least makes a little sense because that's your gut reaction to the word. Grace Randolph, you shut the hell up. Who the hell are you to be offended on someone else's behalf? Let alone have your stupid shit take. Randolph complaining on Twitter about the YouTube commentators saying mean things about her. Well, she's the one who basically said, if you have Tourette's and there's a possibility of you doing this, you shouldn't go to the awards. You should stay home. Well, Grace Randolph, if you are afraid of being offended by this, maybe you should shut the hell up. You know? Because your verbal diarrhea has offended them and they're talking about it. Just like you talked about somebody else saying some stuff you didn't like. Now people are talking about the stuff you said that they didn't like. How does it feel? You said he should stay home. Maybe you should get off of YouTube then, Grace Randolph. And welcome, Belt Loop 29. So good to see you, my friend. You are absolutely wonderful. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. But he says, sup, chat. Yeah, we were just talking about what a dumbass Grace Randolph is. I wasn't going to make it about Grace Randolph, but it's kind of hard. She was like the dumbest MFer in this whole thing. But she just leads the pack of a bunch of dumb MFers making comments about this. Don't forget those wanting masks for everyone wanted to ban them now because it flies in the face of their opinions about law enforcement. Right? I can't even with these people. So this is what my WTF was today. What the F is wrong with these people in Hollywood? And there's a long list of things that are wrong with these people in Hollywood. They're all over the island list, and we all know what they do in back rooms. Actually, we don't know what they do in back rooms. We know basically, but some of the stuff coming out in these files are way worse than your imagination could ever come up with. I don't know, man. This is a broken world, and we got to frickin' live in it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up because we are at the end of our time, and I've just kind of exhausted myself on this one. I really do hope that you can join us Friday. Friday's going to be a big show. And if you don't show, I'll be angry. And you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. So I want to thank all of you for being here and sharing. We have just made it past the midweek. It's on to the weekend from here. So thank you very much. Yeah, Troy needs a nap. Unfortunately, I don't have time to take a nap. I gotta do some quick shopping. I gotta get stuff ready for Friday. I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm working 16 hours on Friday. I have no idea what I can catch. Well, always remember that just because I'm doing a live stream doesn't mean you have to watch it live. You can always catch it on the rerun. There's no reason that you can't. And for those of you that were thinking, but I wanted to give you a super chat during the live stream. Well, there's also super thanks that you could do after the fact in the comments below. Just saying, if you're so inclined. But again, I want to thank you all so much. You guys really are the best. You are why I keep doing this, keep torturing myself with the insanity of talking about this kind of stuff. So I want you to preserve your health, improve your health, be as hydrated as possible. Hail hydration, drink responsibly. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, my friends.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.